This is the Platinum Podcast.
Mr. John Kim, welcome to the Platinum Podcast.
What's up, my man? Platinum, I love the name Platinum Podcast. I've always dreamt of going on to a big podcast with the name Platinum. Just something about platinum. Just
sounds prestigious, right?
Prestigious.
I mean,
hell yeah.
It looks prestigious as well, doesn't it?
Is that the bull and a bear too?
That's it. Well, yeah, nice. We're not messing around. We mean business. We're trying to redefine what university and education really is. And
my bad.
It's definitely not about maths and algebra and fucking Pythagoras and circle theorems. What's the point of university? Like, you're probably the best person for this. Like, what kind of education do you need to make it in the real world? Do you need to learn about crypto? Do you want to learn how to make money? Do you want to learn about entrepreneurship and mindset? Or do you want to learn circle theorems and algebra? What's helped you out? What's served you better in life, John?
Well, I don't know if you guys know my background, but I don't have a high school diploma. Never went to college. And, I spoke at UPenn, and I also spoke at Johns Hopkins University. And I've been invited to be a speaker again this next semester. And the first thing I said when I stood up to the students was, let me just give you my credentials. And afterwards, you can either leave or you can either stay, right? So I always start off with, I don't have a high school diploma. I don't have a high education. I'm not an intelligent person per the social, the people of this world would say that I'm not a smart man. But it's amazing how someone without a high school diploma can actually speak at a prestigious university and be able to give lectures, and they in return say it's the best lecture they've ever heard, right? It's because I'm not coming from here, I'm coming from here, right? So I think this is what I call wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge lived out. So many people in this world, we live in an information society, and we believe that the more information that we have, the more intelligent we are. Not true, not at all. If those knowledge hasn't been applied in real life and real experience, it's just poison in your head that builds an ego that's so great that you be the best person to argue against, you know what I mean? But in real life practicality, you'd be like a dude stuck at a jujitsu gym with no prior experience in jujitsu. You just get choked out sooner or later.
And we've discussed how dangerous that is. Yeah, mate, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think I've got to call you out a little bit first and foremost, because I've heard you say time and time again, I'm not the smartest man in the room. And I think you're measuring yourself by the wrong metrics. Like with what you just said, it's so accurate. You can have all of the information in the world. You can read as many books, but if you don't apply it and you do nothing with it, then it's just useless. And it doesn't actually help you get anywhere. And one thing that you do is you apply what you learn and you hustle and you move forward. And I think that's far more valuable than knowing a load of pointless information that you use to protect your ego and make yourself sound smarter than other people. Now, that's not the case for everyone. Don't get me wrong. There's smart people out there. But I think you accurately called out some people that just try and hide behind it and protect their own egos.
Right. And, I'm surrounded by, I'm best friends with Charlie Lee. He's an MIT guy. I mean, he did undergrad at MIT. If you did an undergrad at MIT, you're like the Navy SEALs of the academic world, okay? Getting a master's at MIT, it's difficult, but it's not that bad, right? But an undergrad, Charlie's been coding since he was 9 years old. So just being around him humbles me every day. Like, I don't argue with that man when it comes to anything computer science or coding or finances, okay? So, and I'm also like best friends with NASA engineers and other people from MIT and Harvard. So I'm literally in the room and I'm the dumbest guy in there. I'm like, people think I'm trying to play it down. I'm not. I'm literally the dumbest guy in the room when I'm with my boys, okay? But here's the thing. They love me because they tell me that they cannot do what I do on camera and the things that I do in cryptocurrency, just going out, getting adoption, getting business to, adopt cryptocurrency as payment. And I tell them, I honestly don't want to be like you guys. Why would I want that much information in my head and just be like, swaying everywhere because my head's so big? I'd rather just be simple, go out and do my thing and shock the world. And here's another thing. When you're simple, okay, my tagline is I'm a simple man with a simple plan, okay? When you're simple and you do great things, everybody's shocked, right? But if you claim to be this genius and you do something great, you're supposed to. You're supposed to do great things. So I'm in a win-win situation because I get to stay humble and I get to reap all the benefits of being a simple person.
Like the ultimate underdog is what you're saying right there. That's what I'm hearing. He's coming in swinging. I love your journey. I would love you to tell my community a bit about your journey, where you've come from and what it is that you're doing now.
Yeah, so I come from a very, very poor family, right, from South Korea. Like, I remember when I was younger, my dream was to just sleep in a bed before I die, okay? Like, sleeping on a bed was such a dream of mine because only really wealthy people did that when I was living in South Korea. So when I came to America, man, like, I just could not believe people lived in this much, like, wealth. Like, I was in a government housing, bro, in an apartment, and I thought I made it. And I realized later that was just a government housing 3-bedroom apartment, but I was living in a 1-room shack. So for me, it was like, man, I done came up, baby. And then went to school and everything. And then what happened in elementary school, I got leukemia. So I went through like maybe 3-4 years of like chemotherapy, losing all my hair, going to school with a hat, being picked on and everything like that. So I was a very scared little boy, right? And then one day, this one incident happened. Yeah, this 6'2", not kidding. This was in 8th grade. I just got my little bit of my hair back from finishing my chemotherapy, playing dodgeball. This big black dude, 6'2", he's a center of our basketball team. I'm like 5'2" at the time, right? He throws a ball at me, and I have glasses on during dodgeball. My glasses breaks. I go out. I'm mad. Next game, I throw it in his face. He's out. He starts chasing me. I'm running, bro, because all my life, I've learned to accept that I'm a runner, okay? Cancer kid, not that strong, always on medication. I was always forced to run from situations, right? So as I was running, one of my best friends said, "You, the P word," okay? You P word, the girl word, right? And I stopped. And I threw my stuff down and I said, "Let's go." And I went at him. I picked this dude up, slammed him on the ground. I got on top of him. When you don't know how to fight, you just like doing this. So I won that fight. And that was the day that everything changed in my life. It was the first time I stood up to something that I was so scared of. At that moment, it was a life and death situation for me. That's what I thought at that age. Because I was literally David and he was Goliath. He was a whole head taller than me. And after that day, I remember everything changed. And I started to do things that I was fearful of, right? Fight or flight. This is how I explain it. After that day, I became a really bad guy. I started going in and out of jail for aggravated assault. I started fighting in the streets all the time. I just wanted to prove everyone in the world that I was a tough guy after that. I had a little chip on my shoulder. I had this, how it is. You train MMA, so I trained too, but so it happened in fight or flight. I realized back then it was like people run away from fearful situation when they're scared because they don't know. Fear doesn't mean you're like scared. It's the unknown. You don't know what's behind that door, and therefore you run, right? So whenever I realized that when I opened that door and I stepped in and there was a monster, but this monster wasn't all that was cracked up to be, that's when I started to live life and started getting into a lot of crime. I started to fight. I started to do my thing, went in and out of jail, counties and everything. And since I didn't have any education, I quit high school and I got into that life. I got into a lot of trouble. And then, long story short, something happened in 2009. I started serving the homeless people for 3 years, not once a month, every day. I took one home. I lived with one. I clothed them, whatever. No donations, everything out of my own pocket. 3 years, dedication, and then I started a business.
Can I stop you there?
Yeah.
What was the shift there? What was the shift that took you from, you've obviously got yourself in a lot of crime, a lot of trouble, you're in this kind of proving yourself mentality. What was the thing that shifted you into thinking, okay, now I need to kind of give back and help other people here?
So my son, I had my first son, and it was out of wedlock. It was me, getting into a little bit of misbehaving, and then I got a son. When my son was born, everything changed. I just knew that I could not live this way, and I didn't want him to turn out like me. So I went to this prayer mountain, and I didn't eat for 23 days. I just drank water. I fasted for 23 days, and I just wasn't, was by myself praying and seeking change in my life so that my son will not turn out to be like me. And after 23 days, I had an incident that happened spiritually. Everything changed after that. And then I became a different person. And then I started to want to help people. So it was a natural thing. So before I went to homeless ministry, I actually lived in a homeless shelter for 2 months because I wanted to know how it feels. I wanted to know. I didn't want to just be like, hey, let me help you because I'm up here and I'm looking down at you and you look like you need help. I just wanted to know what they were feeling. So I lived in the homeless shelter for 2 months, and I got out, and then I started the ministry. And then I was able to connect with them after about a year. Because homeless people, they don't trust you for about a year because they think you just come, to make yourself feel better that you did something good, right? And then you leave and you come back next year on Thanksgiving or Christmas. But I was there every day, and taught me a lot. Taught me about how, ego and pride is even in the homeless people. That's the last thing to go. And once you take care of your ego and you're able to come in public and admit your mistakes and just be like brutally honest with the public about who you are, like you are so free. And I think that's one of the appeals of me on Twitter and social media and the crypto space is I back up everything that I say. I have made more videos about adoption than anyone on Crypto Nation. Okay. I always show with action first, and then I talk about it. And just in case some fool wants to test me, I already have a backup video ready to go. You know what I mean?
You're the guy that goes through a rap battle with like all his verses like written here, like ready for like
100% with the backup verses, son.
You hit some really cool points there that I actually love. I think the first one's about the ego. That's absolutely huge. And this is something that I really admire about you when you talk. And this is why I have to call you out a little bit by this when you say you're not the smartest man in the room, because when we're talking emotional intelligence here, this is high level shit. To be able to set your ego aside time and time again and come from a humble place as somebody that's ready to learn always, that's a fucking superpower, bro. Like that is an absolute superpower. And that's why I think you get so much traction and people relate to you so much. I think that's I think it's huge. That's the first thing. And the second thing is just like accepting that is intelligence. It really is. It genuinely is intelligence in that. You can do that. You can walk into any room. You can say, I'm going to learn from these people. I'm not going to pretend to be the man. I don't have anything to prove, It comes from such a humble place. And I absolutely love that about your approach, man. I think don't shoot yourself down on that. I don't like it.
A lot of people, when I talk to like motivational speakers or like people who do a lot of training and courses, they always come at me like, don't put yourself down. I'm like, I'm not. I'm just being real. Like, I'm just like I try to be brutally honest as possible. And if I thought I was smart, I would tell you literally, hey, I feel really smart right now. So ask me anything, right? But on an average day, I feel like I'm on a 1 to 10, a 5. But here's the thing. No one in this world is willing to suffer as much as I'm willing to suffer to get what I want. No one. And that's my superpower, right? So because of that, it makes me look like a Superman sometimes, because I'm going into places that no one dares to go in. And when I go into that place, there's a prize waiting for me. And when I bring that prize out, people think that I'm a very intelligent person, whatever, but I'll tell them straight up, no, you could have gotten that prize, but you weren't willing to suffer. I was. I used to get beat down at the jiu-jitsu, you know, in the training rooms, where I went in and I'm done. This guy is like slapping me around because I have zero energy left. I go outside, I'm throwing up. They pull me back in, put a fresh guy on, and I'm literally just like, I never want to feel this helpless ever again. And, you know, if you felt that, right? If you felt how much of a bitch you are in real life, like with somebody great, right? If you felt that, there's nothing else in this world that you're really scared of. Because what situation that you're in, are they going to be able to put you on the ground and make you feel like a little girl? At least you have your faculties, right? You have your legs and you have your, run through it. Who cares? Who cares, right? I've been in jail. For the last 3 years, I slept in, you know, I tweeted this. I went from Motel 6 to Hotel Suites, right? I've slept in people's sofas for 3 months. I was willing to do whatever it took to make it in this space, even if I had to temporarily live in discomfort, right? So I think that's my superpower. And whenever you talk to me long enough, even Ben Askren said, I think you're lying, John. I think you're really smart. 6 months into the podcast, Ben said, boy, you weren't lying when you said you were simple.
That's a true friend right there.
Yeah. But let me explain one more thing. You know, there's a word called meekness, right? Meekness, I love this word, right? Jesus was the meekest man on this earth. Let's just say, if you're a believing man. But that meekness, a lot of people don't know the definition of. Meekness isn't humble, humility. That's not what it means. It doesn't mean powerless. It means possessing all the power and not using it. It's like an MMA fighter that is sitting with a big fat calloused ear, cauliflower ear, sitting on the bar. Little kid comes in, picks on him. He said, bro, I don't want any trouble, walks away. Now, he could literally kill this man in like 30 seconds, but he walks away. And I believe the biggest virtue that I want out of life is meekness, true meekness, to where I have the ability and the power, but I don't use it for my own advantage.
You want to be the peaceful warrior, my brother.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, that's where it's at. That's where it's at. You talk a lot about your hustle and your drive to just go to where other people won't. I think that leads really nicely onto your journey with Litecoin, because you have soldiered on where nobody was willing to go by quite a big stretch. I'd love for you to tell the community about how that all came about. How did everything start with Litecoin for you?
Man, you know, I got into Bitcoin early 2017. I remember the first time I bought Bitcoin was like, I think less than $1,000. And I had to go to a prepaid T-Mobile store to give cash, and they like had to like call a place and then get me a wallet. It was like so ridiculous. But I was like, I got to get in. I got to get in somehow, and I got in. And then like everyone does, they start trading, right? You think you're a genius trader now because you just made like 100% gain on some crap coin. But I had an issue. Whenever I was going from exchange to exchange, I was losing on trades because Bitcoin was taking just way too long, right? And then I found out the best way to send anything is Litecoin. Litecoin goes to the exchange fast. We get it. You flip it to BTC. You buy it, you know. So I fell in love with Litecoin because it was so practical, right? And it was so fast. And then 2018, I started to do Twitter. I joined Twitter 2009, but I didn't even know how to use Twitter, okay? There was two reasons why I decided to go on Twitter. Number one, I don't know where punctuations go. I suck at writing because I don't have a high school diploma, right? So I wanted to embarrass myself and learn how to tweet and write by putting it out in the public and let people judge me, right? At least I'll know the difference between, apostrophe S and just regular S, right? So that was one of the reasons, because I want to strengthen my writing game, my tweeting game. Number two was because crypto Twitter was so hot on Twitter, right? So in 2018 February, I changed my name to Satoshi Light's Bodyguard. Satoshi Light is Charlie Lee's Twitter handle. And I told him that I can be his bodyguard. I know how to fight. If it came down in real life, I can protect him there, but I can literally be his bodyguard on Twitter. So it was Satoshi Light's Bodyguard. That was my goal, right? Now, you got to listen to me close. This is very cool. One night I got real drunk, okay? And
This is a good start to any story, bro.
Yeah.
This is where it goes.
So I DM'd Charlie, and this is what I said. I don't know exactly what I said, but this is the gist of what I said. I said, Charlie, I don't have a high school diploma. I can't help you with coding. I can't help you with any computer science. I don't even know how I can help you. And I have a bad past. This is my story. I'm a changed man. If you just give me one freaking chance, bro, I will find a way to bring value to Litecoin and you. Just give me one chance. And he responded saying, you know what? You got it. And they invited me to Litecoin Foundation. And then like 6 months later, I was literally his physical bodyguard at the first Litecoin summit in San Francisco.
Is this before or after you became friends with Ben Askren?
That's before, right? That's before. So I left in my truck, sold everything, sold my business, sold my house, August 6, 2018. And I went around the United States, 10,000 miles, and went straight to San Francisco for the summit. It was LTC 30 for 30, 30 cities in 30 days. And then went into San Francisco for the summit. And when I got there, I met Charlie for the first time. And we hit it off right away. And then after the summit, I felt empty because I was already Satoshi Light's bodyguard now. That was my goal, and it became a reality. And I talked to Charlie, and Charlie said, you know what? I think you need to change your name now, So then I changed my name to Chief Evangelist, Litecoin Evangelist to the world. That was my next goal. So it wasn't who I was, but it was who I was striving to be, that I was going to be the best evangelist for Litecoin to the world. And then, like 6 months later, I did a 7-country Asia tour.
That's a fine way to set a goal. I like the way you set your goals. From a psychologist standpoint, you're like, I'm going to set this as my Twitter handle. This is what I'm going to do now.
Exactly, because every time I log on to my Twitter, I'm reminded that people are expecting this from me, and you either come through or you're not a freaking man. Because in this space, in any space, if you just talk, and you don't come through with action, sooner or later, people are going to call you out. So here's one of my good sayings. The world does not need more information. They need a demonstration. And a simple man with a simple plan can demonstrate to the world the power of cryptocurrency without all that mumbo jumbo blockchain hash rate BS that people don't have. 99% of the people in this world don't have the time, the intellect, or the freaking what word am I looking for? The capacity in their brain to even understand the intricacies of a blockchain. So what I do is I dumb it down, simplify it, meet them in their eyes, and I send them some Litecoin and get them to experience it. It's game over, son. Game over.
Okay, I love that approach. There's especially for our community. So many of our community, they're just getting into cryptocurrency. What would be the first thing you would tell these guys? Look, when you're first getting involved, what is the most valuable insights you could give them?
First thing is download a wallet and know security, right? Understand 12-word seed word, 24 seed words, and know that you don't have a bank account, that you are a bank. I'm a bank of John, okay? I have full access and I claim all responsibility for my funds, which means you need to practice good security, right? That's the first thing. Because if that is not there, okay, and you invest and you don't realize that you are the bank and you're responsible, then you may get hacked. you may, lose your coins like most people have, many people have. So I would start there. Then I would send transaction to each other, 10 cents, $1, and just experience a peer-to-peer transaction that doesn't involve a third-party intermediary. That in itself is so powerful. I remember we spent at the Litecoin Fund, someone spent $90 million in Litecoin, like 40 cents fees. What? Guys, if you want to send any money over 10 grand overseas, red flag, okay? But the power of Bitcoin and Litecoin and cryptocurrency, where you can just press send to an address and it gets there in 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Like Litecoin, literally on a good day, 30 seconds, done, right? And 1.5 in latest by 2.5 minutes, but like it's instant. I mean, it's in the meme pool. You see it and you're like, dang. And let me just give your listeners like one of the most important moments of my life in cryptocurrency. I'm involved with Speedon, right? Speedon app. It's an AMP token by Flexa. It's a brand new network, and you can use it at 41,000 locations all over the United States. We're talking Nordstrom Rack, like big stores, okay? So I used to give Litecoin to my son, and it doesn't register that it's money. It's him holding it, and the price goes up and down. It's kind of fun, right? It's like a speculative asset. And then he took me to AMC one time, and he had Litecoin on his Speedon app, and he paid for popcorn, movie tickets, chocolate, and he just scanned it, and he paid with Litecoin. And then, boom, I saw it. His paradigm changed at the moment of that transaction because it was no longer funny money, internet money. It was real money that purchases real world goods and services. And then I realized this: if a 13-year-old mind can change like that, I'm gonna go out, make videos about spending Litecoin, even though people are gonna say, John Kim's that Laszlo guy that bought the pizza for 10,000 Bitcoin. I don't care, because somebody got to show the world, and I'm willing to take that sacrifice.
That's beautiful. I think you do a fantastic job of making things real, making things tangible, and pulling things out of the ether. Because I think for a lot of people, they first start hearing about Bitcoin, crypto, they're like, okay, it can make me some money. I keep hearing that it's going to make me money, but what does that really mean to me when it isn't actually money or something that I can trade for goods and services? And I think that's absolutely huge. That is the simple man with the simple plan, right? That in itself, that is the package. So for people that don't really know, what's the difference between Bitcoin and Litecoin?
So Bitcoin, Charlie Lee is a coder, right? I don't know if you guys know his background, but a little bit is, he worked for Google. He was involved in YouTube Mobile, you guys are using now, Play Store. So he's worked on big projects. He was one of the 3 people hired at Coinbase, which, he took a pay cut to get there. So your Coinbase app you guys are using, you're welcome. Charlie Lee was the head engineer of that platform as well, GDAX, okay, which is Coinbase Pro now. And, he saw not a flaw, but he knew that when Bitcoin's blocks get full, that the transaction was going to be slower and the fees was going to be too high, okay? And he was involved in 2 other altcoins where the founders pre-mined a whole bunch of coins for themselves so that when the price went up, they become really rich. So what Charlie did was, number one, don't try to fix what's not broken, okay? So he took Bitcoin code, source code, copied it. He changed it to 4 times faster, 4 times supply, and then he launched Litecoin fairly with no pre-mine. So every coin that Charlie had, he also had to buy or mine just like everyone else. So that was the beauty of Litecoin, that it was fairly launched with the perfect code of Bitcoin, not anybody else's coin, but he just tweaked the number and he dropped the line, the silver to Bitcoin's gold, because gold and silver in history has always gone together. And I thought that was a great branding, right? But the most incredible thing that no one wants to talk about. Okay, because we're living in a world, everybody want to see new, flashy, sparkling, and that's how the ICO, in 2017, so many people got scammed because they promised you this world and they didn't have any history to back up their claims. And at the end, people were left with bags. Now, Litecoin, there's one thing that it does better than every cryptocurrency, even Bitcoin. And I will never say that Litecoin is better, faster, better than Bitcoin is king, will always be king. You should buy Bitcoin before you buy anything else. That is the most sound advice I can give to you. But Litecoin is best at one thing. 9+ years, we're going 10 years this year, 0 downtime, 100% uptime, over $650 billion transacted over its network flawlessly. Okay, Ethereum can't say that. They had to roll back the chain. Bitcoin had a small hiccup where they had to start 2 blocks back, which means Bitcoin is 99.998% uptime. But Litecoin is the only coin that has proven track record, proven history, 0 downtime, 100% uptime. Listen, whenever I say 0 downtime, people are like, whatever, right? $650 billion transact, whatever. Do you know that Twitter goes down once a year? Instagram goes, like every company that you've ever heard of went down before. There's a website that tracks every company who goes down, okay? It's every company in this world, okay? So for 10 years, for a Litecoin blockchain, the network, to never go down, I call it the Toyota of crypto. It's the most reliable. Hey, I don't know if you saw this commercial, okay? There's this commercial. A father, okay, and a son, they're driving down the street, and there's a really hot chick with her hood open, like waving. And the son's trying to pull over to help her. And the dad goes, no, keep going, keep going, keep going. And they left. And the son says to his dad, Dad, why didn't we stop to help her? He said, have you ever seen a Toyota on the side of the road? Litecoin is a Toyota
it's the slow and steady wins the race. That's what we're going
for. The most reliable cryptocurrency on the planet, according to
tell me, what's Litecoin being used for now?
So Litecoin, we have a Litecoin Visa card, okay, where we load Litecoin. I load Litecoin and I spend the Visa card at every place where Visa is accepted. I try to spend as much money as possible in Vegas. I just got back from Vegas 6 days, and I could only spend like couple thousand a day. I tried my best to run the card as much as I can, just to prove to people that I'm living off of 24/7 Litecoin card. I think I spent over like 26, 27 Litecoin just on that trip, 5-day trip. Got the suite and whatever. So that's
pretty healthy for a man that's been in Vegas for that long, bro.
What I realized? There's only so much you can drink in a day. There's almost so much you can eat in a day. Before I made it. I made it now. I don't need to work, right? Before I made it, I thought if I get to a certain point, I'd be drinking, pina coladas by the beach and just resting. I'm like, no, bro. Like, I'm telling you, there is only so much you can drink before you become a fat ass. There's so much you can eat until you look like the most unfit, unhealthy person in this world. So I'm like, no, that's all empty promises. And I think more money you have, the more disciplined you have to be about your drinking, your working out, and everything else like that. So sorry, I just went off on a tangent, but yeah. And Litecoin right now is on PayPal, right? Is on PayPal. There's 4 coins on PayPal: Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash. Okay. And PayPal released that in the United States last November. Okay. They're releasing first quarter. I tweeted today. Remember, first quarter ends this month. So PayPal is releasing to 200+ million users worldwide 4 coins. Plus, they're releasing 4 coins, Litecoin, on Venmo first quarter. That's 50 million users, okay? And 28 million merchants who have connection with PayPal will be able to accept Litecoin as payment for their services. Now, let me tell you why that's so important. Your favorite coin and your favorite creator promised you the world, but couldn't keep the promise or couldn't get on PayPal. Why? Why? Because in order to be in PayPal, you have to check off all the list. You can't be a security, right? You have to have history. And those 4 coins are probably the most, I don't want to bring Bitcoin Cash. Let's drop Bitcoin Cash out of it. But
no, go raw.
I mean, those 3 coins, I call it the blue chips: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. Okay, Litecoin's underperforming this year compared to Ethereum and Bitcoin, but this is exactly what happened in 2017. Bitcoin took off, Ethereum took off. At the end of the day, at the end of the year, Litecoin was up 12,000% and beat Bitcoin and Ethereum in percentage rise. Let me tell you why. Very simple. I don't do charts, okay? The best traders that I know, I mean, the best traders, they're not on Twitter, they're not on YouTube, they don't have a paid group, and they do not use a chart, okay? Now, there's a human psychology, okay, that says, I don't want to own 0.00001 of anything, okay? Now, PayPal average users have $500 in their account, okay? Now, let's just be real. Take out all this crypto jargon, okay? When I was broke and I looked at stocks, a stock that costs 50 grand, I'm not even looking at it, okay? I'm not even looking at it with my $500, okay? Because I don't want 0.00001, okay? Now, if I'm looking at Ethereum at $1,800, and I'm talking this is right before the 200 million people around the world are going to be exposed to 4 coins, okay? In 2017, when Litecoin hit all-time high, Bitcoin hit all-time high, there's only 10 million users at the height with Coinbase. We're talking 200 million plus users that are about to be exposed to 4 coins, okay? Now, $500 average account. You see 4 coins. Litecoin's at 200. You know what? I'll buy 2 because I want to own 2. I don't want to own 0.02. It's a psychological thing. You know why? Because I did it too. I remember buying Litecoin at $10 because I had like a whole bunch of them. And now I can tell my friends I have like 100 of Litecoin instead of saying 0.1 of Bitcoin. So it's a psychological thing. And I think, I'm telling you, last November on my Funky Crypto podcast, I predicted Bitcoin will go 35K by the end of the year. I missed it by 2 days. And I have the clip up. Ben said, you're telling me Bitcoin's going to go to that price in 6 weeks? Are you crazy? I said, write it down, take a picture. I don't care. It's going to happen. Okay. So this is what I'm telling you. After PayPal announces worldwide release and Venmo and 28 million merchants, you're going to see Litecoin on a heater. You have never seen something go parabolic like Litecoin can. Because you have to understand one thing. People in this world outside of US, they don't have much money, bro. They're not like US people where they can just get a line of credit or run their credit card and buy, 0.02 of Bitcoin. These are people that may have $200-300 and they want to buy one of something in hopes that it would skyrocket like Bitcoin. So right now, the institutional investors are making Bitcoin so solid and strong, okay? I mean, it feels like I never felt the strength of Bitcoin like it is right now, okay? And this year, as it goes on, you're going to see Ethereum strength just getting solid, and you're going to see this little Litecoin dude just popping up.
Do you know how glad I am to hear you say that? because my business partner called Litecoin skyrocketing and going parabolic very soon. And I went all in and he went all in and we're waiting right now. So
right,
this
baby.
is great news. This is what I want to hear. This is what our community want to hear because my business partner.
I'm telling you right now, it's the first quarter. It is this month. It's the end of first quarter. I'm expecting some major fireworks because look, Litecoin has led Bitcoin and cryptocurrency out of the bear market so many times. And every time it does, right before they say Litecoin is dead, Litecoin is boring, Litecoin has no development, Litecoin is... Hey, mofo, you don't need development when you've been reliable for 9+ years, zero downtime. What's all this commits that you're doing? And your coin is a centralized crap coin. Don't talk to me about no development, all right? And then Mimblewimble. Okay, another one. Remember in 2017 when SegWit was launched around March, and a couple months later, boom, Litecoin took off. Look, 2021, we have Mimblewimble, okay? The privacy tech, the opt-in privacy feature, which takes care of the fungibility issue, privacy, and also scalability. It's kind of like, this is how I explain it to simple people that I know, okay? So I know your listeners are pretty smart, but let me explain to you in a simple way. Litecoin blockchain is like an open highway. It's an open source highway. There's transaction running through an open highway that's running, okay? So Mimblewimble with extension block is you get to exit into a tunnel that runs with the Litecoin highway, but it's a covered subway system that runs along with Litecoin. And now your transaction are covered to where people don't know how much Litecoin you hold when you send the transaction. So it kind of Mimblewimble, it kind of makes it difficult for people to see how many Litecoin that you hold. When you purchase a small coffee or something, they can just look at the address and connect it all back to see how many Litecoins you have. So it fixes the fungibility issue, which 2021 Litecoin becomes the first cryptocurrency that checks all the boxes of sound money, because Bitcoin Litecoin lacks one thing, fungibility. Litecoin takes care of that with Mimblewimble, and 200+ million users being introduced at the best rate, best price, Litecoin. And you got me, baby. I'm getting look, April, stay tuned. In April, I'm being gifted a brand new Lamborghini Urus, top of the line, and I'll pay with Litecoin.
So that's where Litecoin's going, Lambos.
It's got that L, baby. I got to do that L, baby. Even if, listen, I'm over 40, okay? I can't get in and out of a supercar. I used to have an R8. It's just not a very comfortable ride, like especially Lamborghini. So I'm getting a Urus because I get the whole enjoyment of the Lambo. When Lambo, I get to tell people, when Lambo? Right now, mofo. But I don't have to lay in,
I mean, I'm pissed off. I want to see you in a Toyota. I don't want to see you in a Lambo. I think a Toyota is where it's at. You can rebrand it. Maybe you can spray it the right color, but Toyota is where it's at.
Actually, Toyota, I left in my Toyota Tundra with Litecoin decals all over in 2018. So I had a Toyota Tundra truck wrapped in Litecoin. I sold my house and left in my truck. So I'm telling you, I practiced what I preached. When I sold my truck, okay, I sold all my cars for Litecoin, okay? Now I don't have a car, okay? That is the only car that I've had in my past that I made money off of when I sold.
Toyota, I don't think I've ever made money off a car I've had, ever.
No, Toyota holds its value, man. Seriously. It holds its value. Yeah. Just like
I won't be owning a car anytime soon. I live in Bali right now, so it's scooters or barefoot walking. Neither.
Are you in Bali?
Yeah, man.
Dude, I'm gonna come visit you.
Mate, get out here, bro. It's sick out here. I don't think you'll be able to pay for anything with Litecoin though. That's the only downside. No chance of that right now. You're gonna need.
Hey, is there like a quarantine protocol over there?
Only 5 days, bro.
5 days in a hotel?
5 days is all right. It's manageable. You don't lose your mind in 5 days. 14, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
Definitely
I really may come. I really may come.
Mate, hit me up if it happens. What's your vibe right now? What are you doing? I mean, are you driving around trying to get people giving people Litecoin? You still want that vibe, or what's the plan right now? What's a normal day for John Kim?
Oh, I just came back from Vegas because I had a huge meeting with reality TV. I haven't told this to anyone. Okay, so I can't tell you what it is.
Give me the goods, John.
Yeah, I can't tell you what it is, but I had a huge meeting with the producer of a new reality TV show. It's let me just give you one clue. It's set in Rodeo Drive. Okay, so if everything goes well, I'll be in the show as the crypto guy who's making transactions happen with Bitcoin and Litecoin. And it's a $60 billion industry. And the meeting went very well. They love me. They put a camera on me. I just went off just the way I do, naturally, no script, and they loved it. So if that goes well, you're going to see a lot of private jets, Lambos, Rolls Royce, because these people are wealthy people. And, I think that would take me to the next level. So that's what I did in Vegas. I went for that meeting and everything went great. And today, if you go to my Twitter, I just bought my mom a brand new Mercedes E-Class. I made her test drive like 3 of them. She wanted the E-Class. So I just bought her 2021 brand new E-Class just because. Just because Litecoin.
Because Litecoin.
Litecoin has saved me and changed the trajectory of my financial life.
I love that, man. I love that. I love your whole story. Just a simple dude doing his thing and just being truly authentic, just being himself and just saying it how it is. And I love how you've entered this space. I love you just like got drunk, walked into this space, hit the owner of Litecoin up and just said, look, I want in, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to provide value somehow. I don't fucking know how, but this is happening. Like that approach, I think it should be an inspiration to so many people because it's just, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what skill set you've got. If you're willing to stick yourself out there and try and make something happen, you can get that. And I think that's a really powerful message. And I see why so many people resonate with you, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. And Charlie, I remember one day, Charlie, we talked and I was at the end of my rope to where I was broke. Litecoin was $22. And, he just said that, I said, Charlie, why do you support me? Why do you believe in me? And he said, I haven't met anyone in crypto with a good heart like you, And I think that those simple words gave me another year of fuel to my fire. I'm a very simple person in where I don't want your money. I literally refuse to take donations because I want everybody to win with me, right? If I win, I want all of us to win. I may disappear after Litecoin goes to all-time high because I can't continue to live my life like this, right? I have to enjoy some of the fruits of my labor, right? But when somebody believes in me, that is the currency in my world. Nothing else is. Since I have a chip on my shoulder, right? I've always grown up just wanting people to validate me and to give me their faith and their belief, right? And, I'm be honest, that's a weak ass character in a man. When you need attention, when you need acceptance from other people, but I'm not gonna BS it. Maybe I had a bad childhood and this is how I came up to be, right? But I'm not gonna lie. I need people's acceptance of my passion, my conviction, and my faith. And if you can give me that, I will freaking go to war with you. And Charlie, I will go to war with that guy because he gave me chance when I had nothing, absolutely nothing to offer him. Okay. Now, fast forward, everything that you hear about Litecoin, my fingerprint, my hand is on every single one of them. And I have proven to him without a shadow of a doubt that I found away to make him proud of me. And it was way bigger than what he thought or could imagine at that time. And now people tag me before Charlie Lee. I'm almost like the face of Litecoin now.
You're the new shareholder. You're in charge.
That's right. There's a new sheriff in town, boys.
I love that, bro. I love it. And I really applaud your authenticity, your openness, just to like take such a raw approach and view of yourself, man. It's a breath of fresh air, I think, especially in this kind of space. I'd love for you to tell everyone where they can find you, where they can follow your journey, and anything else that you've got going on right now, because I know our community are going to love you and going to really see what they want to keep up to date with what you're up to.
So I'm on Instagram, and I suck at Instagram because I went all in on Twitter. So I'm John Kim Official on Instagram. I am at John Kim 77 on Twitter. You should probably follow me and watch in April, because I'm going to do about 4 or 5 episodes of me paying for the Lambo, getting the Lambo, riding the Lambo, splurging, and all this just to tell the world I was right about Litecoin. Just to rub it in their face. I told you so. It's
you can swear on there, bro. We don't care. You can go in.
Yeah, and then I have a podcast with Ben Askren, a Funky Crypto podcast. Our YouTube game's kind of weak. We just started, but we get like the most views we've had on Twitter. We always go live on Mondays. 200,000 views, 15,000 views regular. Instagram 50, 60, 80,000 views on our clips. Facebook 3,000. So we're doing pretty well when it comes to views, but our YouTube game's kind of weak. So don't judge us by the YouTube, judge us by our Twitter and Instagram. So and Ben Askren's fighting April 17th in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, with Jake Paul. Get your tickets. I'll be there backstage, all access page. And then I'll be shooting some clips and shooting some videos and tweeting it. So I think we have a great, if you follow me on Twitter this year, you're going to see some laughters, tears, Lambos, just money, whatever.
Sounds like a good combo. Mate, I love that. Thank you very much for your time, brother. It's been epic.
This is the Platinum Podcast.